The U.S. Army's 369th Infantry Regiment was one of the most celebrated African-American military units in U.S. history. During World War I, the 369th's heroism and fierce determination on the battlefield earned them the nickname Hellfighters from their German enemies. While the U.S. Army thought black soldiers were worthless, the Hellfighters proved themselves to be indispensable to the French army to which they were assigned. The French called them Men of Bronze out of respect, but the soldiers became internationally known as the Harlem Hellfighters. Dr. Antonia Pantoja was the first Puerto Rican woman to receive the U.S. Presidential Medal of Freedom. Born in San Juan, Puerto Rico in 1922, Dr. Pantoja was raised by her working-class grandparents. In 1944, she moved to New York City in search of a better life. Early on, she found work on an assembly line in a factory that produced radios for submarines in Lower Manhattan. While working in the factories, she witnessed the racism and discrimination aimed at Puerto Rican workers. Recognizing this injustice, Dr. Pantoja took action by informing the workers of their rights and teaching them how to organize a union. Known as the first liberator of the Americas, Gaspar Yanga led one of the most successful slave rebellions in the Americas. During the 16th century, sugar was the main crop in Veracruz. Yanga was among the many slaves brought over from West Africa and forced into working the Spanish sugar plantations in Mexico. Around 1570, he led a slave revolt and escaped with a group of followers into the mountainous terrain surrounding Veracruz. There, Yanga and his people formed a settlement which grew to some 550 people and eluded capture for nearly 30 years. This thriving community became a beacon of freedom for other runaway slaves. Dr. Ronald McNair was a renowned physicist, astronaut, and the second African American to fly into space. Although he came from a low-income family, his parents always encouraged him to do well in school, and he excelled at math and science at an early age. In 1959, 9-year-old Ronald attempted to check out 2 books at the segregated Lake City, South Carolina Public Library. He was asked to leave,
"Get out of here,"
but refused to do so until he was allowed to check out his books. When the librarian threatened to call the police, he sat on the counter and waited patiently. After the police and his mother arrived, the officers recommended that the library give him the books, as he posed no obvious threat.